You're gonna make an omelet, you gotta kill a few chickens.
Chickens?
Selfish, selfish, selfish. Do you hear him?
I've heard they're the most dangerous animal in Africa.
I'll tell you what, drilling should only be done by adults.
And go back to your North Korea. You're so comfortable there.
Does Ian McKellen like North Korea?
He's crazy about North Korea.
Am I unpatriotic?
I'm feeling very victimized right now.
Grant Bixby is an ocean advocate and founding member of the Business Alliance to Protect the Pacific Coast from Offshore Drilling. Jim Meskimen is an actor from the oil-loving TV show Landman and the film There Will Be Blood. Grant and Jim are mortal enemies. One wants clean water and the other says, "Drill, baby, drill." Or at least that's what this voiceover wants you to think.
Just because I want the ocean full of these unsightly structures, pumping oil at dangerous levels, at high risk, does that make me the bad guy?
Does that make me the bad guy?
Therefore, today they're sitting down together for the first time ever. Will they become more united by nature? That's the question we will seek, but never answer here.
At the fire pit. It's supposed to get big. The flames go up. Let me introduce you to Grant Bixby, a founding member of the Business Alliance for Protecting the Pacific Coast, and Jim Meskimen, one of the best character actors of all time. He's my scene in Apollo 13. They both come from completely different backgrounds. They're gonna have to put aside any differences they might have to fix the planet. Well, we're right here on this beautiful beach in Southern California, which, famously there's never been any oil spills or anything of that sort down here.
We've had two major oil spills just right here off the coast of Huntington Beach where we're sitting today. One is recently, that was 2021.
Yeah.
And that particular incident shut down all of Huntington and Newport Beach beaches for 9 days. Behind me here, we've got a couple of oil rigs that are offshore.
I noticed those.
Yeah, you notice those, huh?
Yeah. They stick out a little bit.
It's not a hotel.
And Jim, you're on Landman, so I assume you're pro oil and everything like that.
Billy Bob Thornton, I don't know if you've seen that show, but Billy Bob would probably say you're taking a big swing, a big roll of the dice to have some sort of oil rig out there. If the pipes don't burst, you got to hope there isn't any earthquake, got to hope there isn't any hurricane.
Yeah.
And then you're still not going to make much money at it, so what's the point?
I know he's unsympathetic to such things, at least in the show. My own point of view is muddled about the whole thing, because I too am an admirer of the ocean and the view and the wind and the cleanliness and the sand, and nobody wants pollution of any kind coming up on the shore. I remember those times when there were spills out here. On the other hand, we have kind of an oil crisis going on again. We have a dependency on foreign oil, so I can kind of see the point of view of, well, if there is an oil field out there, it seems like it's always a question of how safe can you make it, how efficient can you make it, how little impact can it have on the environment. And unfortunately, it seems to have a rather bad record of impact on the environment.
I think about it like this. In my day job, I sell homes, and some of those are very nice, expensive homes that were built by the best contractors and the best plumbers around. But shit happens.
It happens.
Pipes burst, and that's just in a house with a toilet flushing, which is just a little bit of water and not a lot of pressure. So imagine...
Hardly any crude oil.
Hardly any crude. Imagine cold temperatures, hundreds or thousands of feet of depth, high pressure in the ocean, swell, current, wind, corrosive power of salt water. Pipes burst, pipes corrode, ships crash into and drag their anchors across pipelines that are laying on the seafloor. Infrastructure just ages over time, and some of these have been out here for decades and they're beyond their lifespan. So just like a house bursts, plumbing bursts in a house.
My house burps. I don't
Okay, Grant, please help me, because I want to understand better what it is you do. So what is BAPK? BAPK?
Baypack. Say it.
Baypack.
Can you say it? Baypack.
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 Okay.
There you go. Baypack is the Business Alliance for Protecting the Pacific Coast.
Uh-huh.
We're a group of business owners, 8,200 plus on the West Coast, from San Diego all the way up to Washington State, who are all in opposition to the expansion of offshore oil and gas. We believe it's bad for business. We're just one small voice in kind of a big chorus of voices. In the business It's very common to hear about environmental organizations standing up for the environment, right? Makes sense. The business voice is trying to draw attention to our elected officials and other stakeholders that, we're not just worried about offshore oil jobs, we're worried about all the jobs up and down the coast.
Yeah, why are you opposed to this? What's wrong?
Come
Why
on,
do you
Jim.
hate these coasts? Why do you want oil running up and down here?
Just because I want the ocean full of these kind of unsightly structures, pumping oil at dangerous levels at high risk, does that make me the bad guy? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. No, I can't really fault you. It makes a lot of sense to me. And I think the two sides have to get together. Unfortunately, there's so much money involved that it gets a little bit muddied because of that.
This segment, and it's not a scary segment, it's just a normal segment. I'm not going to give any gotcha questions yet. The segment is called
Builds
Helping.
up a lot of trepidation when you say it's not going to be a scary segment. I never
Really
had
building
a thought
it up,
that
isn't
it was
he?
going to be a scary segment. Instead, he said it's not going to be a scary segment.
I just like to prepare everyone and let you know that nothing bad is going to happen
You're losing trust.
in the immediate future. I'm trying to gain trust here.
All right.
Okay. Nothing bad is going to happen. This segment is called Helping or Hurting. Where I'm going to ask you, or I'm going to give a word or a subject, and I'm going to ask you, helping or hurting the environment. Tacos.
Helping.
Helping, an extra helping.
I love tacos.
Politics.
Hurting.
Okay.
Gotta say, seems like it's hurting. Politics as a word just has a stink on it. Like politics. Oh, that's just politics. We use that as, it's not politics, like economics or animal husbandry. It just doesn't fit in the same thing. Politics just sounds like,
Yeah, too much animosity. There's so much common ground that our politicians are not hearing our population, which, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, there's a lot of love for protecting our outdoor spaces, protecting our ocean, and our politicians are not helping in that area.
Okay, baby strollers.
Hurting.
definitely. Those kids need to be up and walking earlier.
Reusable bottles.
Reusable bottles. That's good. That's helping.
It's helping. It's removing the plastic, but you don't need 10 of them.
Okay.
You need one good one
But
for
people are
coffee
always
and one
giving
for
you-
your other drinks.
People are always giving us these reusable
They
bottles.
are.
Those Jenga towers that you see at bars now everywhere for some reason, where it's like the giant Jenga blocks, are those helping or hurting?
Those are helping. Bring people together around a table,
Tell
play
you
some
what.
Jenga.
Tell you what, step on one of those in the middle of the night, hurting. Very
Hurting?
big, very bad.
They're
very
big.
bad.
They're big blocks. Yeah, it's a hazard and it's annoying. Anyways, North Korea.
North Korea's just sitting there. It's the people
Mm-hmm.
that are perhaps creating a little bit of conflict because they're under a dictatorship. Not so good.
Mm-hmm.
Suppressed people, dictator, I'd say hurting. The land itself, just fine.
I'd say per capita, we're hurting the environment more than North Korea.
What?
Just saying.
That's probably true.
Why, that's hogwash.
Am I unpatriotic?
That's Sir Ian McKellen.
No, but it could have been worse, sir. If you don't like it here, then go back to your North Korea. If you're so comfortable there.
Does Ian McKellen like North Korea?
He's crazy about North Korea.
Is he really?
Everyone knows that.
Oh,
He's got a little bed and breakfast he operates
He's
out
got a
of.
summer cottage.
A summer cottage in North Korea.
that sounds like a huge financial loss.
Yes. Well, it's not always about the money, is it?
No, it's he does it for the love of the game. Okay,
Yeah, he does.
wonderful. And what does Edward G. Robinson have to say about that?
Edward G. Robinson.
I'm doing this for the kids on TikTok.
Yeah. Kids love Edward G. Robinson, see?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
See, man.
Well, here's the point. The point is that we got to protect the ocean, see?
Yeah.
Because it's all full of beautiful creatures.
Yeah.
Some are edible, some are not. It's a dogfish eat dogfish world out there.
Oh yeah, exactly.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Cagney feels the same, I'm sure.
Sure. Boy, we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. These are the old 30s and 40s guys. These are the guys that would speak 4 or 5 times faster than a normal human being today.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, but
Let's not leave out Jimmy's story. As long as we got the whole triumvirate there.
Oh, yeah.
Cagney, Robinson, Stewart.
Yeah.
It's like a baseball team, you know?
Oh yeah, it's
Firing
beautiful.
off a double play.
And Katharine Hepburn, of course. She was, in her own, a league of her own.
I'm feeling very victimized right now.
I do wonder what George Bush would have to say about drilling offshore.
I'll tell you what, drilling should only be done by adults with the proper tools.
Could you, I don't know if this is possible. If this is way too weird, just let me know. Could you do David Attenborough talking about me as if I'm in a nature documentary?
Observe this Homo sapien, dressed in traditional wear, gazing off into the distance, mustering his small thoughts together into a coherent point of view, his lustrous brown hair blowing in the breeze. Doesn't he have something better to do? No. He's doing exactly what he was put on this earth to do. Warm himself by a comfortable fire and engage total strangers in meaningless conversation.
It's not meaningless. It's actually very important.
I don't agree with him. I'm just saying what he would
Oh,
do.
right. That's David Attenborough. Okay, thank
What
you.
does he know?
He's shallow.
The planet is what, 70% water, or is the human body 70% water?
We're all
Or maybe
made up
both.
of salt water.
We're made up of salt water?
Supposedly the same ratio
Uh-huh.
as the ocean.
Yeah, that makes sense. So there is a continuity there. Anyway, I mean, how can you be a human being, even if you lived in the desert? You'd have an appreciation for the fact that somewhere out there are the 7 seas or maybe more. I don't actually know what the current level or number of seas are. But you always just talk about the 7 seas.
Well, they're getting higher.
Are they?
So maybe they're all just becoming one sea.
I'm all in favor of everything you're talking about. I want these coasts to look beautiful, but I also think about people in the middle of the country, people who have never been to California, who think, why can California afford to keep drilling off of their shorelines, but big oil can come into all these other parts of the country because they're poorer. They don't have the means. They don't have businesses and all the huge GDP of California to be able to fight back. Do you have any advice for people who want to make sure they can protect the nature in wherever they are, not just down here in wealthy California?
I would say I feel their pain. I think one of the big differences between oil on land in other parts of the country and offshore is that a spill onshore you can contain. Containment offshore is really just a joke. They will talk about containment, but it's not possible. All you need is 2 feet of swell and 10 knots of breeze and a different current, and it could absolutely change the direction and the expanse of a spill. But I do feel for those people in other areas of the country, because it's not just, you've got the noise of the rigs, you've got the pollution that surrounds it. Really every stage of the drilling process is unfortunately dirty. And we all drive cars, we all use plastics in our life, and we're realists. We're in a world that uses oil, but we really should be transitioning away from that as much as possible, and that could help kind of ameliorate some of those grievances that people around the country who live near oil infrastructure are feeling today.
Extra points for using the word ameliorate.
Yeah, what is that? What does that mean?
Lesson.
I don't know. I'll look it up. I just heard it.
Just heard it somewhere. I'm always scared about a tsunami. I don't know. Every time I'm at the beach, I know that's kind of strange, but I have this delusion that I feel like if a tsunami happens, I'd just be fast enough to run away, Although I know that's probably not likely. Well, I'm not very fast, so I'd probably jump in a car first.
I have to say, you have a little bit of a gloom and doom attitude.
I do?
Yeah, I'm just.
Well, I'm just thinking about the environment and stuff.
A lot
But,
of people come to the beach, they think about the fresh air.
Everything that's in the sand. I mean, who knows who's been here, but who knows who's used this before? I mean,
Wow.
But it's beautiful too. I
Mhm.
mean, it's nature. Nature is good. But tsunamis are part of nature. Tornadoes, hurricanes,
Right.
avalanches,
Uh-huh.
that sort of thing.
I'm saying, just a little bit of shade on everything.
But nature is beautiful, even the scary parts. That's what they tell me to say.
You're gonna make an omelet, you gotta kill a few chickens.
Chickens.
I've got my eye on the surfboard prop, so I'm going there first.
Okay.
Just
I
ride
just
the
have to be
waves.
faster than you two, and I can float away.
It's immediately went into a discussion of imminent death.
That's right.
I mean, what else do you talk about on a beautiful day like this?
Well, the salubrious effects of the sun, the vitamin D, the health of the air. I'm sure there's a lot of things that you could mention that are very healthful and positive.
I gotta say, your coast is pretty good. I'm calling it your coast. I know you don't own the coast, but
Yeah,
you
we're
advocate for it.
Kansas's coast too, so you gotta,
Often forgotten.
When I'm in the water out here, I see Brazilians, Australians, New Zealanders,
You
people
see,
from.
sorry, you see Brazilians or what?
I see Brazilians and Brazilians.
Oh, wow.
There are a lot of them.
That's a whole contingent.
That's right. Everybody comes here to Southern California.
That brings us to our next segment. This is called the semantic game. Okay, I'm going to present a couple of words, concepts that are similar. I'm going to ask you guys to try to differentiate what they are. And they might sound similar, but in some ways they're different. Big oil versus oil industries.
Big oil is a loaded term, and it's used in in situations, I think, where people want to convey a message of power that is really unstoppable in some cases and has been in our history, versus oil industry, which is good people who are hardworking and maybe it's the only job they have, and they're out there, earning a paycheck for their family.
Yeah, I agree with you. Big anything makes it pejorative. It's a little bit insulting. You don't describe something that you're in favor of with the term big in front of it.
Big gulp, though.
Big gulp.
You know,
That's
Big
true.
gulp is good.
Used to do the big gulp, 7-Eleven, Dr. Pepper, way back when.
That'll give you a spill.
Are there sharks out here?
There's sharks everywhere. Huntington Beach, there was just a sighting a couple days ago right off the pier, but mostly they're eating rays. But when you enter the ocean, you do enter the food chain, so that's awareness for you. We had a great white breach just maybe 100 yards outside of the lineup, and everybody kept surfing.
Breached.
Yeah,
Like
full breach, turn sideways, everybody see the white belly.
But no life or death experience.
No
That's
life
close
or death,
enough.
I mean, yeah, you were hoping for loss of limb or what?
I'm always kind of, I'm trying, I'm thinking about the TikTok.
I've
Shark Week
drilled
on
my
Fire
head
Pit?
into
This is
ocean
Shark
bottom.
Week of Fire Pit. Yeah,
Couple times.
exactly. Okay, well.
Wow, breached. Did you
Yeah.
go in then at that point and go, I think I'll need a break?
Everybody kept surfing.
They kept surfing.
There's safety in numbers.
Not that
Right?
much.
There are a lot of us out there.
Oh my God, hundreds?
I was
Trestles.
just betting that I would not be the guy.
Well, I did a movie that's going to get released pretty soon called Hungry, which is about a ravenous hippopotamus.
You see those all the time, right?
They're very, hippopotamuses are responsible for a lot of human deaths every year.
I've heard they're the most dangerous animal in Africa.
That's what I've heard too. Although they have this kind of cute aspect that everybody feels like they want to go and hug one. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Okay.
Don't hug anything with cloven hooves that weighs over 1,000 pounds. That's my rule.
Not many people can say they've done a movie about ravenous hippopotamus.
Jim, you've worked with so many great directors in your career,
I
I'm
have.
sure. Ron Howard, he launched that rocket to the moon, right? Because that was very wasteful.
Right. But of course, that was not a real rocket. Actually, that was all done by special effects. That was done in post.
Yeah, I was
13.
lucky enough to be part of that cast of Apollo 13. Great movie, great
Love that
experience. Yeah, I learned a lot. So it was very exciting that we are actually traveling to the moon again. I don't know if that's part of your questions, but I think it's great that we're exploring new planets.
Oh, yeah.
In case this one gets a little too cruddy, be nice to have a spare or two.
I like the optimism, but I feel like that's never going to happen, sadly.
Well,
Don't
maybe
know
not
if
in
that's a
our
good
lifetime.
plan B.
Good, yeah, but nobody likes the plan B. We want to stick with plan A, but a plan B, unfortunately, is one of those things you got to have.
I mean, for me, it's like space travel is great and interesting, and we should be exploring the science of it, right? I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but it's like when billionaires are talking about, hey, we got to go to Mars to terraform it, and it's like, well, how long is that going to take? Is that technically possible? Well, not really, and that'll take centuries. So it's like, in the meantime, we should probably.
Selfish. Do you hear him?
I think he just wants to go get a ride on Branson's ship the next time and be a
Think
space
so.
tourist.
You and Katy Perry, huh? Wouldn't that be nice?
I would go to space anytime, anywhere. I'm so grateful for both of you for being part of this. Thank you. And I don't know, I feel like just very connected to you both spiritually right now, talking about nature.
Shall we?
Oh, wow, okay. I didn't know we were
Let's do
doing
it.
this. Thank you. Do you mind taking a family vacation photo with me?
Oh, no, that's fine.
Let's do it.
That's fine.
Are you
All right.
gonna? Here we
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Round the fire pit, you know. Perfect fit. Round the fire pit, you know.
I see you dropping in right out here. It was a nice little left-hander peeling along there.
Yeah.
Well, it's good format. I like the.
I know, I'm trying to think.
I like bringing the kind of differing people from different backgrounds coming together. We need.
That's
We
what
need.
the whole thing's about.
we-
Yeah.
yeah, we
Jake,
need a lot more of that.
things.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to The Fire Pit. And share with all your friends and family. And let us know, who do you think we should have as a guest next time? This looks nothing like me.
That's a wrap on Jake Chance! And that's a wrap on first season of the Fire Pit.